Yo, what's good? It's your boy Derek Branch here of Saint Discussions on Strike Seven Sports. In today's video, I just want to talk about a recent article that was published by Pro Football Network concerning Jets QB Zach Wilson. There's some reports that have surfaced over the last few days about the Jets ready to move on from Zach from the former first round pick. I believe he was the second overall selection in the 2021 NFL draft, right behind Trevor Lawrence, and right after that, it was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, I believe Trey Lance came right after that. But in regards to this story, they have the landing spots for Zach Wilson. Now, Wilson cannot be released. He's still in the contract. He's on a rookie deal, but the only way they can move on from him is by trade. So what Pro Football Network did was came up with a couple of teams that they believe is a good landing spot for Zach Wilson. Article written by Tony Catalina, and they have the New Orleans Saints as one of those potential suitors for Zach Wilson, along with the LA Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm gonna go ahead and read what they said on the why Zach Wilson would be a why the Saints would be a good landing spot for Zach Wilson if he had to join a different team. While Derek Carr is locked in as the number one in New Orleans, the Saints saw Jameis Winston head to Cleveland to join the Browns, leaving a bit of question mark at QB2. With Jake Haener in the fold and recently signed Nathan Peterman in the mix, there's not much behind Carr that inspires confidence if he were to miss time. While this may not be the best situation for Wilson, if he's looking for a fresh start to work on his game, it does provide him with a chance to be one play away from the action. That's all they wrote for the analysis they wrote for why the Saints would be a nice landing spot for Zach Wilson. So, in my opinion, man, Zach Wilson may have gotten a raw deal with that team, but in the same token, I just think Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback. I don't think he's not a good quarterback overall, man. He might prove me wrong if he goes somewhere else and become a viable starter once again, but I highly doubt it. It's just not, he's just not that type of quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen enough of Zach Wilson to know that. He's just not a really good quarterback. In the Jets, and to start your career with the New York Jets, um, that was starting his career on the wrong foot as it is, because that's just not a good organization. Jets are just a bad organization, and it's been like that for a while. But in regards to coming to New Orleans with the was Wilson and Zach and the Saints benefit from this? I would say maybe not 50-50, man. You had weapons. Wilson had weapons with the Jets. He would have weapons with the Saints, and probably better coaching to a certain extent. Offensive lines and the offensive line with the Jets was terrible. That's a big part of the reason why he struggled out there. Saints defensive line, I would say, is a tad bit better. Defense, Jets have a really good defense. Saints have a really good defense. So I'll give the nod to, I would say, the Saints, but the Jets do have a good defense. And Zach Wilson still struggling with that team. You know what I'm saying? And you come to the NFC South and playing in a bad division, so that gives you an advantage right there. It gives you an opportunity to, show that you're a viable QB option. But other than that, man, I don't think. I mean, is he better than Nathan Peterman? You know what I'm saying? Is he better than Jay Hayner? That's the big wild card right there. Nobody knows what the Saints really have in Jay Hayner as a backup QB option. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out during training camp what exactly we have in Jay Hayner as a backup quarterback and a potential starter down the road. You know what I'm saying? But I've said this in the past. I said this a few weeks ago. If Derek Carr, God forbid, goes down with an injury, and if it's Jake Hayner or Nathan Peterman, and they can't keep the Saints afloat while Carr is out, I mean, the bright side is the Saints are going to be really bad. They're going to probably get a net Atlanta top 5 pick in the 2025 draft. And that's when the bottom will fall out and the reset that everybody, have been clamoring for will be here. The great reset. I mean, they already started to, take things on the chin, in my opinion. They started to already go through a slight rebuild without them, actually saying it. But they already started the process of doing that. But when they let guys like Isaac Yiadom go, Malcolm Roach, Lonnie Johnson, a few others, Zach Bond, Jameis Winston, let players go. These guys weren't superstars or anything. Like they weren't, guys that you were paying that were demanding big paydays, but they were quality players. Isaac Yiadom, you know, let those guys that kind of show you that they're probably going through a slight rebuild to a certain extent, but they want to keep their remain competitive in the NFC. But man, if you ask me, Zach Wilson or Jay Hayner, I probably would take my chances with Jay Hayner. Man. I think I like what we have in house over what Zach Wilson may bring to the table with this team. And I know we got Clint Kubiak as a new offensive coordinator. You got, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Taysom Hill, Rashid Shaheed, Jawan Johnson, Foster Moreau. I rather see what Jake Hayner could do with that personnel compared to Zach Wilson. I just don't think he's an option for us. You know what I'm saying? And I get the intent by Pro Football Network naming the Saints as a potential suitor because based on the year Derek Carr had, even though Derek Carr played really good down the stretch, the team didn't get into the playoffs. They failed to win a division that was projected to be really bad, and it was for the most part. But it didn't get it. They didn't get it done. They failed out, missed out on the playoffs, and so when you do things like that, these narratives start to build around a team and around the quarterback. People start creating stories about certain quarterbacks coming to your organization, or you can draft a certain quarterback, things like that. This is what happens. So Derek Carr just got to stay healthy this season and do his best to get his team into the playoffs. Because if we're being honest, Derek Carr is probably on his last leg in regards to being a viable starter in the NFL. Because if things don't work out for the Saints, I think he's gonna go into that bridge QB territory where he'll get a starting job, but he is not viewed as a long-term answer. So that's something to think about as well. But in regards to this topic, in regards to Zach Wilson, in regards to fit with the Saints, I say no. And also, the Saints will be fools to give the Jets a draft pick for Zach Wilson. If the Jets are that, the Jets might be. You probably get him. I think they'll probably do it if you give him like a 6th round pick or 7th round pick. I wouldn't give him any. I wouldn't give the Jets any of the Saints. I think the Saints got four 5th round selections in the draft this in a few weeks. I would not give them any of those 5th round picks. I'll give the Jets at least a 7 round pick, a 7 or 6 round pick, and see what they say. See if they balk on it. Because they're probably so desperate to get rid of him, they'll take anything. But Zach Wilson is not the guy, man. I mean, it's good that he's getting out of New York. They're trying to move him out of New York because he needs a fresh start somewhere else. And maybe he'll prove me wrong, but being with the Jets, that's a bad organization to start your career with for a young quarterback. You know what I'm saying? If you can't overcome the Jets organization, the Jets bad coaching staff, if you can't overcome that as a quarterback, as a leader of a franchise, your career is gonna be off on it's gonna get started on the wrong foot, in my opinion. So that's what's going on with that situation. But no, I don't think the Saints should try to make a move to acquire Zach Wilson. They won't make a move to acquire Zach Wilson because they signed Nathan Peterman and have Jake Hayner, who they're really kind of, telling it, well, by signing Nathan Peterman, they're telling Jake Hayner, hey, look, the QB2 role is yours. You just got to go out there and beat this guy during training camp. So that's what they're actually trying to say by signing Nathan Peterman. So we'll see how it play out once training camp comes around. But no, I say no to Zach Wilson. No to trading for him. So that's that. All right, so I'll ask y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. Do you think Zach Wilson will fit with the Saints personnel? Do you think he would have success here at the Saints if they make a move for him? Also check out strike7sports.com/Saints for the Edge content, the One Saints organization. Have a blessed night. Peace. I'm out.